Welcome to the Holistic Kid Show. My name is Dane.
My name, my name's my name's Casa.
We're the Holistic Kids here to educate us kids from the inside out. Pesticides, EMF, environmental toxins, microplastics, hormone disruptors. We kids are living in a toxic soup. Currently, the US imports about 45 million pounds of synthetic chemicals daily. About 1,000 new chemicals are put into use every year. Only 5 chemicals have ever been banned in the US. The United Nations projects that by 2030, global chemical production is expected to double, reaching more than £1 trillion per year. Approximately 90,000 pounds of compounds are currently approved for commercial use, but only a handful have been evaluated toxicity.
The average person is exposed to more than 80,000 toxic chemicals a day. That's a lot.
Mhm.
Toxification goes into increased toxic load that leads to disease, mitochondrial dysfunction, and oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. A little bit of our bodies can 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 tolerate, but when we are exposed to more and more toxins, our body can't tolerate it. It is like the sick body, like our sick, yeah. It is like the sick gets clogged, and then we really can't, and then, and then
Right, so yeah.
I can't speak this.
So let's first jump into like the questions and really ask. We want to know how you got here and talking about EMFs and detoxification. We would love to know your story.
Yes, well, you know what? I'm like a lot of people. I was, searching for health answers when I had my own health problems. And, when I was 37 years old, my health kind of crashed out and started going on the internet, trying to figure out what was wrong with me and found out my hormones were low and I had all these toxic heavy metals and just was really surprised because I'd taken really, really good care of my health my whole life. And like a lot of people, they're eating good, they're exercising, they're taking supplements, they're trying to reduce stress and doing all kinds of things. And then people get surprised when they have a crash out of their health. And so for me, I couldn't understand what was going on because I just thought I was so healthy. And so for many people, they're in the same boat. And so I started researching I did a heavy metals test and found out I had all different kinds of heavy metals. I had mercury, I had arsenic, I had uranium, I had thallium, and I just thought, like, where on earth did I get these things? Because I'd read about, people having mercury poisoning and other things, but I never thought that would apply to me because I was so healthy. But I had my results in front of me, and so I just started on a detox program and starting feeling better within a month or two. I started taking a lot of minerals because minerals help to detox heavy metals. And I was really, really blown away. And I just started researching everything about it I could get my hands on. And this is about 15 years ago. And so a huge light bulb went off in my head. And I started my website. I founded MyersDetox.com and then started building on that because obviously toxins are not the only problem people are dealing with. So over time, I went down the rabbit hole of EMF, which is electromagnetic fields that's emitted. It's kind of radiation that's emitted from our computers, our cell phones, our light bulbs, our O-ring lights, which emit a lot of EMF, and just so many different sources. And the Wi-Fi in public spaces, the satellites that are being released every single day and beaming down on us. And so there's any electrical devices as well that were around all day long, all emit EMF, and they cause problems with our health. They cause brain fog and fatigue and trouble sleeping, only to name a few. And most people suffer from some of those symptoms. And so that EMF was another thing that I started focusing on to bring awareness to it and provide solutions through my my Harmony pendant. It's a pen that I designed that I imprint frequencies on to protect people and mitigate the stressful effects of EMF.
Wow, that is so inspiring, and I think a lot of um these like pain to power stories are just such a inspiration to all of us, that no matter like where we are, we can learn and take these steps and constantly like educate ourselves to become better. And um we are, yeah, I want to say we are so incredibly honored to have with here today Dr. Wendy Myers. And for anyone who doesn't know Dr. Wendy Myers, she is a naturopathic doctor and founder of MyersDetox.com. She's an internationally recognized expert on heavy metals, metal detox, anti-aging, and bioenergetics. She's a sought-after speaker, number one best-selling author, and the host of a top 50 rated podcast, the Myers Detox Podcast. Her mission is to educate and inspire the globe about topics related to anti-aging, detoxing from our increasingly toxic world to combat disease and increase longevity. So she is incredibly busy. So we are so thankful to you today for being on our podcast.
So
And
God.
yeah, so well, let's just start this off with like a little bit more of a simple question about EMFs, electromagnetic fields. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, why that really matters for maybe teens, or kids, or even adults?
Yeah, so EMFs are basically what I said before. They're electromagnetic fields, and they're emitted by all of our devices that we're on all day long. I've got two computers here and my cell phone and an O-ring light that's shining in my face. And so it's just unavoidable in our environment today. And what these EMFs do is they're little waves that carry information on them. We're downloading our movies, we're downloading photos and things like that. And so our body works in the same way. So our brain and our body, our heart, emit waves that have information on them. And so that's actually one of the main ways that the body communicates. So our brain will send out information on brain on waves, and then send that information to our body and like different parts of our body. And so these harsh, non-native EMFs are much stronger than our body's more subtle, weaker signals, and interferes in those waves, interferes in our communication, interferes in the brain's delta waves that they emit while we're sleeping. And so if you're trying to sleep and you've got your cell phone charging right next to you, and also it's not in airplane mode, so it's constantly getting a signal or reaching for a signal, and you're getting text messages and all kinds of messages all night long. That EMF is interfering in your brain waves while you sleep. So even though your eyes might be closed, you may wake up feeling really, really exhausted and really brain fog, or have high blood sugar the next day because you didn't get a deep restorative sleep, because these EMF waves were interfering in your body's energy waves. And so, and that's why EMFs can have such this wide range of symptoms associated with it, that's found in the research. There's extensive research about the harmful effects of EMF. And there's brain fog, there's high blood sugar, high cortisol, which is a stress hormone. There is like poor sleep, like I said. There's immunity issues, there's fertility issues, there's implications for that, and just so many other health issues. It's I can't go through all of them, but not only that, but tumors as well. There's a lot of childhood brain tumors because of this, because children and babies, their skulls are not as developed, they're not as thick as adult skulls. So children, especially young babies under the 1 year old, are much more susceptible to the harmful effects of EMF and having that harm their brain or cause tumors. And so that's something to just be aware of, because a lot of parents, they give their child the electronic babysitter. It's so much easier to have your 2 year old on an iPad than it is chasing them around while you're trying to get stuff done, or you're trying to relax, or just have a minute to breathe. And I definitely was guilty of this as well, before I knew better. But yeah, that's why I like to do these podcasts, to educate people that, if you have the iPad or the iPhone on airplane mode, that's much, much, much better. But you don't want to have the iPad charging or the cell phone charging while you're holding it, because it's going to release a lot more EMF than if you just have have it not charging.
That's amazing. And yeah, you were talking about the electronic controller, and I think that so many like parents are doing this to their kids, and that's like there's been like a negative like um connotation when you say like Gen Alpha, like brain rot, like because a lot of these like newer generations are being born with yeah an electric parent, someone who's like constantly stimulating them, making it actually a lot more harder for the parent to go away from it. So do you have any maybe like tips for specifically parents on how you can maybe limit their technology use, or like anyone like their technology use, and maybe some helpful tip for parents on really helping their kids get away from electronics?
Yes, well, I think it's just about, making a decision about not wanting to expose your child to excessive screen time. I mean, of course, you can't, avoid screen time altogether in this modern day and age, and you do have to take breaks. And the child is like screaming for the phone, and and the iPad. But I think it's good to have like maybe set some limits, have a daily limit of maybe a couple of hours a day, less so for young children, because they are more susceptible to the effects of EMF, the harmful effects of EMF. But limiting it to like 2 hours a day, like you guys mentioned on when you came on my podcast, I think is a really, really good barometer. And also, I know I had one friend, they're amazing parents, and they would negotiate with their child. If their child started misbehaving, they got knocked off another 30 minutes of their screen time. So you can use it as like currency with your child, because that's the currency today. You have to, negotiate with children based on their currency. So if they're doing good, maybe they get more screen time. If they're, not behaving or not listening, and they get screen time like taken away, and it probably will work really, really well to get you what you're trying to accomplish with your children. But also just, making a decision that you want to spend time with your child, and you want to engage with your child, talking with your child, playing with your child, versus just letting them veg out on a screen. And it's just a commitment that you have to, that, you may want to make, and just do that consciously. Because I know it's really easy. It's really easy to just give them the iPad, and then you can go do whatever it is that you feel like doing, and they'll sit there for hours, totally engaged. And the alternative to that is if it's a young child, like say under 5 or 6, they're going to be running all over the place and doing all kinds of stuff and being super active. And you have to really be present. You have to really like watch them and be super present and engage with them. And you just have to make that mature adult decision to engage with them versus just sitting them on the iPad. Some other things that I recommend people do to protect from EMF is, if you have your phone and it's not in airplane mode, just try to keep it for like a distance from you. So if you have your phone, keep it 3 feet away from you, or arm's length away from you, because distance will reduce the harmful effects. And so that's something that you can do. I also have, for your phone, I have this card. It's called the EMF Harmony EMF Equilibrium card, and it has frequencies imprinted on it that will mitigate the harmful effects of EMF. So it will turn your phone, like it'll basically transmute the harmful EMFs and turn it into actually a healing frequency. But not only that, but mitigate the harmful effects of the EMF. There's about 200 frequencies imprinted on this that help to reduce the harmful effects of EMF. So it accounts for all different types of EMF that your phone can be emitting. So that's one thing that I do. And I devise this to, for my own personal use and my phone. And also, like I said, don't use your phone when you're charging it. Just got to be kind of strategic with charging your phone. You don't want to charge your phone with it sitting right next to your bed at night, because that is going to interfere. And the research shows this. That's going to interfere in your sleep. So you want to charge it in another room. You don't need your phone at night. Just put it in another room, like in the bathroom or something, and just charge it in there. And then also turning off your Wi-Fi router at night is really helpful, because you don't want to sleep with a Wi-Fi router in your bedroom. That is really harmful for your sleep. And so make sure that your Wi-Fi router is not in one of your child's bedrooms, or not in your bedroom. Really important. You don't need it in the bedroom. Put it out in the living room where you're not sleeping, and then turn it off at night. You don't need it at night. And so the Wi-Fi doesn't need to be going on at night. You can also hardwire your house as well. That's another option, is where you have an Ethernet cable, and then you can just plug that right into your computer directly, so you don't have a Wi-Fi signal constantly, disrupting your energy field. But probably not realistic for a lot of families that have large families, and everyone has like phones and all kinds of devices, and so it may not be realistic for a lot of people. But some people choose to do that as a protection mechanism. And then yeah, I mean, there's many things that you can do. You want to make sure also, if you have a smart meter, so the smart meter in your home sends a signal out even 25 miles to the electricity company. So there's covers that you can get to put over it that will mitigate that signal, because you don't want that signal beaming into your bedroom and your home, because it sends a signal out like every few seconds to get that information of your energy usage. So you can get these devices on Amazon that are a cover that go over your electric meter. And so that's also a really important thing to do as well.
Mhm. Yeah, that's amazing. And I was gonna like mention, like, I don't know, like kind of just something really interesting. Like, I know a lot of kids at like my teens, I've seen, like, they like to sleep right next to their phones, like right next to their heads. And I find that really funny because are they like on their phones while like sleeping? Because there's really no need to have it while you're sleeping there. So I think that's like, yeah, put it a little farther away, because it's damaging you more than it's helping you.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to sleep with their phones, or they have a habit of being on their phone until they fall asleep, till their brain is just so exhausted from doom scrolling that it just has to shut down. But yeah, I think it's better to get in the habit of putting your phone away and then closing your eyes to go to sleep. I mean, and it might be boring, because you might have to think about things. You might have to actually use your brain for a few minutes before you go to sleep and not be distracted. But it's much better to just put your phone away and put it in the other room before you go to sleep. Yeah, and get an alarm clock. You don't need the phone for an alarm clock. I know a lot of people use that excuse that they need it for their alarm, but you can get a separate alarm clock to go next to your bed. And there's a million different kinds that are really cheap. And just get the phone out of your life, out of your bedroom at night.
That's some amazing tips. Thank you so much. So
does the sleeping with the phone affect the recovery and or growth?
Yes. So, when you're a kid, boys grow until they're 25 years old. Women, I think it's till they're 21. So you don't want to do anything to interfere in your growth, which the main component of that is sleep. And so you release all kinds of things when you're sleeping: growth hormone, melatonin, which detoxes your brain. You just release all kinds of insulin, growth factor, all these different things that help your body grow. Your brain is detoxing at night when you sleep. You're recovering and regenerating at night when you sleep. And if you shortchange your sleep, you can shortchange your growth long term. And so I know many people whose growth was stunted because of lack of sleep, or not really prioritizing sleep, or not thinking they have to sleep, or maybe they had some health issues that prevented sleep. And people that their growth is severely stunted. And you have certain windows of growth that you can't get back. And so you just really want to make sure to prioritize sleep. But if you want to be the tallest person possible, you need and also like and also have proper facial structure as well, where you have really nice facial features and bone structure and a strong chin and a strong jaw and all that stuff. What that people like that because you look healthier. You've got to prioritize sleep. And that's one thing that I've focused on my whole life. I always prioritize sleep. I don't know why, it was just an intuitive thing. Always prioritize sleep and naps and things like that. So if you're sleeping with your phone next to you, like I said, you're really stressing out your body. You are not going to sleep as well. Like I said, your eyes might be closed because your body's exhausted, but you're not going to get that deep regenerative sleep. And the only way you can track that, there's an Aura ring that I wear, and I track my deep sleep and I track my light sleep and my REM sleep, or my REM sleep, the rapid eye movement sleep. That's a sleep that you have when you're dreaming. And so, when you remember your dreams that you've gone into that REM sleep, and that really helped. But deep sleep is the most important for longevity and things like that. But you can track your sleep with an Aura ring, and you can see what happens when you're on your phone, and you can see when you're sleeping next to your phone, and you can see what happens when you have your phone in the other room. So you can do little experiments with this Aura ring and see what's going on with your sleep, see what affects it. I try all kinds of different things to see if I can improve my sleep. And I've been working on my sleep for like 2 years with this freaking Aura ring. And just trying to maximize my sleep as much as I can. So you guys can do that too. And I know these are an investment and whatnot, but if you're really, really curious, you like biohacking, you can see how that phone is affecting your sleep every night.
Yeah, that's I think we like, especially our mom has an Aura ring, so sometimes we even try to see, like how we sleep to see how well our sleep is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think sometimes it's really funny when it comes to like the stress levels, because when I put it on, it's like the stress levels are a lot lower, and then once I give it to my mom, they're like a lot higher. So
Yeah.
it's really cool to see those changes and really experiment like with that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting, and it gives you a lot of information that's that you can use to improve your health and your sleep.
Yeah. So if a kid could change one thing to support their to support detoxification, what could they do? Like a habit.
Yeah, so the best thing for detoxification of heavy metals in your body is taking minerals. So that's the best thing that you can do, because today, there's heavy metals in the Earth's crust, and they're being drudged up from the earth. All this metal you see around you on your desk, the computers and the phones and this, everything has metal in it. And that was mined and taken out of the Earth's crust. And then there was, all the manufacturing will release metals into the air. And, again, there's metals in the pesticides that are used on the food. There's metals in the water that's used to water the food. And so the heavy metals and chemicals get into our body in the air, food, and water. And so our bodies they're beautifully designed by God, and they have a detox. We have detox mechanisms, detox pathways that use minerals. But because people are under so much stress today, from nutritional stress, emotional stress, EMF stress, and so many other kinds of stress, lack of sleep, we're very mineral deficient. And the body can use heavy metals in the place of some minerals. So like the body doesn't have zinc to repair the arteries in the skin, it can use cadmium. If the body doesn't have enough potassium to run the heart, it can use thallium, and it can use cesium as well, which we get from nuclear testing, Fukushima disaster in Japan, and just other sources of cesium that have been unleashed into our environment. So if you don't have enough minerals, your body's going to accumulate more heavy metals. But if you take minerals, it will push out and displace heavy metals. So the main mineral you want to take is magnesium. And I take a few different forms of magnesium every day. I take magnesium glycinate, magnesium threonate, magnesium, ionic magnesium. And I also take a supplement that has seven different kinds of magnesium as well. And then I take zinc, I take potassium, I take selenium as well, and I take lithium. And I also take sea salt in all of my water. And I heavily, heavily salt my food with sea salt as well, because that will give you all those 100 trace minerals that your body needs as well. So when I do different bioenergetic scans that look at all my minerals are perfect. And it's because I'm just eating minerals all day long, because they're largely devoid in the food. Unfortunately, we have very industrial kind of farming practices where the minerals are not repleted. There's no seawater added to, or ash or cow manure added to the soils to replenish the minerals in the soils. And so they do that in regenerative farming practices, but that's, most people are not eating that. So for many people, say like a peach has 50 times less nutrients than it did a few decades ago. And oranges, you'd have to eat 10 oranges or more to get the same amount of nutrients in the same orange a few decades ago. And so it's great. People are eating more whole foods and vegetables and animal proteins and things like that. Animal protein is very mineral rich. But for many people, no matter how healthy a diet they eat, they're not able to get the minerals that they need from their food, and you have to supplement, or you're going to accumulate more heavy metals and toxins as a result.
Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, thank you for the tip. I think a lot of people could use that tip and really develop that habit.
Yeah, because a lot of people there's people consume 8,000 toxins a day, so we kind of need that.
Yeah, so we need some way to detoxify. In the world that is looking more towards increasing toxins, humans, we are gonna have to learn to get rid of that toxins.
Yeah, so where can people learn more about you and your amazing work?
Yeah, so you can go to myersdetox.com if you want to learn all about how to detox. I have over 1,000 articles and over 600 podcasts there that we've been working on for a long time. So we're going on year 14 this year. So lots of free information and free e-guides and all kinds of info on how to detox and how to get started. And then if you want some EMF protection, like you want to get my Harmony pendant or my EMF cards, equilibrium card, or stickers, you can go to harmonypendant.com.
Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, so everyone go check that out. I think the link should be in the description. So yeah, definitely go check that out. And now let's recap Dr. Myers' key points.
Harsh notative EMF interferes with our body's energy waves and disrupts our body with our brain waves.
Make a decision not to expose yourself to excessive screen time. Set limits with a couple hours a day. Less for younger kids because they're very easily addicted to it.
And maybe for screen time, you can use the currency for it.
Yeah,
you'd probably listen to
it.
Yeah,
because kids actually care about their screen time. So
yeah, so keep your phone 3 feet away from you. EMF card can help transmute the EMFs and can reduce the harmful effects of EMF. Don't charge your phone next to your bed. Charge it in another room. Turn the Wi-Fi off rather at night and maybe put it on airplane mode. You can also hardwire your house. A smart meter cover is important. Take minerals today.
We are so incredibly honored, Dr. Myers, for you here to join us today. This was such an amazing and empowering episode. You were so intelligent. I think that a lot of people could benefit from what you're saying.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. And you can find me on all the social media at Myers Detox and YouTube at Wendy Myers.
Okay.
Yeah, so everyone go check that out. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Zain Sari.
I'm Maud. And I'm Dawson.
We're the Holistic Kids here to educate us kids from the inside out. And follow our family on social media, Holistic Mom D and The Holistic Kids Show. And look out for a new book. It's the bestseller called The Teen Health Revolution.
This is the book.
Yeah. So kids are empowering other kids. So please check out our podcast on iTunes, leave a review, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
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 Bye.